You're listening to KSG Podcast. This is a short, crisp, concise, exam-oriented, edited editorial for civil services aspirants. In this podcast, we are going to talk about environmental cost of gas flaring. Source for the content is Deutsche Welle. Russia is believed to have flared large amounts of gas near the Finnish border since July, releasing approximately 9,000 tons of CO2 per day. It looks at the potential climate impact in its recent analysis of activity at the under construction Porto Vaya liquid natural gas facility not far from where the Nord Stream 1 pipeline enters the Baltic Sea. Norwegian based company Rystad Energy said Russia was flaring gas that would ordinarily have been supplied to Europe. Had relations with the West not soured as a result of Moscow's invasion of Ukraine? Flaring is generally a common practice near oil fields and processing plants across the world, with companies burning off gas that is generated as a byproduct during various processes involved in oil exploration and extraction. Firms usually resort to flaring when they lack adequate infrastructure or financial incentives to bring the gas to market, or when it needs to be released for safety reasons to manage changes in pressure during crude oil extraction. Huge volumes of gas are currently lost to flaring each year. According to the World Bank in 2021, approximately 144 billion cubic meters of gas were burned in thousands of flares at oil production sites worldwide, enough to power the whole of sub Saharan Africa or almost two-thirds of the European Union's net domestic electricity generation. Now, how does it affect the environment? Flaring is seen as environmentally preferable to venting gas directly into the atmosphere. If you have in parts of your grid too much gas, you have to release it. And of course, for the climate, it is better to burn it because you massively reduce the greenhouse gas effect than if you release the natural gas as it is CH4, that is methane, said Stefan Lechtenbaumer, professor and director of future energy and industry systems at the Wuppertal Institute, a German think tank. Compared to the CO2 released from flaring, methane is around 80 times more potent for global warming over a 20-year period. Despite this, gas flaring is still considered economically unproductive and a critical climate issue. You have the CO2 emissions, but no use from it. You don't produce electricity, you don't produce heat, you don't drive industry processes, etc. Gas wasted in flaring, venting, and methane leaks from oil and gas operations led to around 2.7 billion tons of CO2 equivalent emissions in 2021. According to the International Energy Agency, preventing this loss would have the same impact on global temperature rise by 2050 as immediately eliminating greenhouse gas emissions from all the world's cars, trucks, and buses. Now, talking about potential impact of Russian gas flare, Zhongkyang Luos, senior gas and LNG analyst at Rystad Energy, says that the sheer volume of gas being burned at the LNG facility in Russia makes it a particularly concerning case. A normal standard procedure will not flare that amount of gas, he says. Although the exact volume of gas being lost to flaring at Porto Vaya is difficult to calculate accurately, Rystad estimates it to be around 4.34 million cubic meters per day. That equates to 1.6 billion cubic meters annually, around 0.5% of the EU's annual gas demand needs. The Russian gas giant Gazprom has slashed flows through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline to just 20% of capacity since mid July, blaming technical reasons like faulty equipment for the cut. Germany rejects this argument and says the reduction in gas supply was a political move in response to Western sanctions against Moscow over the Ukraine war. Some argue that after Russia cut supplies to its European customers, it could not divert the gas to anywhere else and therefore opted to burn it off. Gazprom, which according to Rystad Energy is building the plant where gas is being flared, did not respond to requests for comment. Now, finally, talking about the black carbon pollution and the Arctic. Experts such as Kramer have also expressed concern about the pollution from black carbon, more commonly known as soot, produced during flaring from the incomplete burning of fuels like natural gas. Black carbon is a powerful contributor to global warming, converting solar radiation into heat and impacting rainfall patterns. Using calculations of the estimated flow rate through the flare, it is likely that this single flare is currently producing more black carbon than the entire country of Finland. Russia's government planned to reduce gas flaring from about 12% of associated gas to below 5%, which is the share achieved in countries with advanced gas production industries. However, this has not been achieved. That's it for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. To join KSJ India courses and to crack the IAS exam, visit ksjindia.com. You can also get a PDF of this podcast on ksjindia.com. Thanks for listening and do subscribe to our channel.